So MARMAC was started in 1953 by my grandfather, J.W. Martin Jr., and his business partner and brother-in-law, John McLeod Sr. And my grandfather, who went by Dub, was working in the civil construction industry, and they figured out a new product called a pipe diaper to join concrete pipe. And so MARMAC got its start in the diaper business, and they moved back to my grandmother's hometown of McBee and started MARMAC in 1953.
My dad was in the construction business. My uncle John was in the textile business, and got to talking about starting a business. When they started out, they went to the department store, bought cloth, they cut it with an old butcher knife, and my mom and my aunt sewed it up on their home sewing machines. And then they inserted wire in the thing by hand, and that was how they got started in 1953.
We were a very opportunistic company, and so we had actually gotten into the wire business because it was a component of the pipe diaper product. And so we had this capacity, and we began using that tie wire capacity to make double loop bar ties, and ultimately installed our own wire drawing and annealing capacity. And it was a natural evolution into the tie wire business.
MARMAC premium tie wire products are superior because of the true weight, the package of the coil. It's tangle free, it's clean, and it's very ductile, it's very pliable to make sure that the softness or the pliability of the product is consistent throughout all of our coil.
That is the most important thing about MARMAC wire is its quality. It is clean, it is soft, it is easy to cut and twist. A person can work with MARMAC on the job and go home less tired than if he or she is using a harder to cut and twist wire than ours.
Our premium tie wire product is dead soft annealed. And dead soft annealed means that let's start from the beginning. Whenever you process wire from out of raw, you have to hard work it or cold draw it. And that process builds up stresses inside the wire and makes it hard until it begins to rise through that process. So what we do is we take that wire, we put it into an annealing process, and we take the product up above the critical range. And at that point, then we'll soak it and then bring it back down in a controlled environment as we pull it down. And what that does is it relieves all those stresses and brings the product down as basically as soft as you can get it, because that's so important for tie wire for it to be soft and pliable. Is the rod buster or the person using the wire to tie rebar, you can use it to make a good knot.
So as we got into the tie wire business, the wire division of what was MARMAC Manufacturing at the time was run by a first cousin who still is involved in the other half of the family business. And so my dad was also very much involved, John Martin III. And what they figured out was there was a classification of tradesmen, an iron worker, and he was specifically called a rod buster. And it was his job to lay the rebar and secure the rebar with tie wire to affix it while the concrete was poured in whatever structure they were building. Rod busting is not an easy job. It is not for the faint of heart. It is not the kind of job where you wake up on a rainy, cold morning and you don't go to work. And so those are some of the hardest working men and women in the construction trades in the United States.
Iron workers, and particularly rod busters, are very important to MARMAC because without their recognition, we don't have a business. It is because rod busters ask for MARMAC by name, recognize our several different products and brands, and insist on them. That is why we're in business. And so to us, the rod buster is a very important person, probably the most important person. We have to satisfy distributors. We have to be price competitively. These things are all important to us, but the fact that Rod Buster asked for our product by name makes him the most, and her, the most important person in our sales chain, even though he's at least 3 entities removed from our sales process.
So, in a privately held family business, we have the luxury of making short-term decisions to the benefit of our customer that will only pay off in the long term, in a way that if you're a large corporation or a publicly traded corporation, you don't necessarily get those luxuries, those decisions of short-term pain for long-term gain to build a relationship, and you can provide an excellent level of customer service and an excellent quality product and stand behind those promises.